Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and happy Friday, January the 8th. It's about 3:35 in the afternoon, and it's been a few weeks since we've done a video. So first of all, let me wish all of you a Happy New Year. I think it's going to be a great year. I hope you feel it's going to be a good year for you and your family. I hope you had a great holidays and enjoyed them and relaxed a little bit. But here we go. It's 2016, hard to believe, and we're on pace already. So I got a couple notes I want to share with you today. First, you probably know this, but every year in our state legislature has one legislative session, and it starts always in January. So our legislative session for Georgia starts next week, and we've already heard that we'll be presenting, GVRA will be presenting on our budget request, which will be, I think, on the 21st of January. The legislative session, just for those of you who may not know, goes for 40 days, but they're not normally consecutive. And so it'll start next week, and it will probably end sometime around the end of March or early April. And so the session begins. Another legislative note that may be of interest to you is last year at the session, our State House of Representatives did a resolution to establish a study committee that has been looking at employment first as a policy for Georgia and post-secondary inclusion programs. It had a really good committee. It was led by Chairman Katie Dempsey, who's a state representative out of the Rome area. They held hearings. They held 4 actual hearings this past fall. I was able to testify, I think, at the 3rd hearing. We had people attend all the hearings. I had a lot of people testify, and they issued their report of the study committee, actually, I think the week after Christmas, and they made one recommendation, which is really kind of interesting for GVRA. The recommendation is that they have recommended that the governor sign an executive order to establish a task force or a employment first council for Georgia, and that they establish that council under the authority of our agency, GVRA. So I don't know where that's going to go, but that was the recommendation that came out. And for your information, we are very much in support of employment first for our state. Let me digress from legislature a little bit and talk about our grant, our Federal Career Pathways grant. Really what I want to say to you is it's really more a thank you to the E3 team. Dale Arnold and Rita Young have really been heading up a great group of folks who have been working since we got the grant October 1st, and it's really to help youth with disabilities and students with disabilities have greater access to pathways that actually lead to real jobs in the community. The name of the grant is E3, and the 3 E's stand for Explore, Engage, Employ. And I had the pleasure a couple of weeks ago of hearing the team, the E3 team, present their model. And I was so impressed. To those of you who are working in a part of the E3 team, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate all the work you're doing. And it's getting a lot of enthusiasm outside of our state. We had some conference calls yesterday with our grant monitor in D.C. who was very excited about what you, the E3 team, have done. We had a call later in the afternoon with a group out of Harvard called Jobs for the Future, also very excited. We had a call earlier this week with the Burton Blatt Institute out of Syracuse University, very excited. So you're doing some great work, and I just wanted to acknowledge, I don't know all of your names off the top of my head, but I want to acknowledge all of you who are working on the E3 team. Keep up the great work. You're doing some phenomenal things, and you're going to help push Georgia into the future. So now I'm going to shift into something a little bit different. I had a link sent to me about a TED Talk, and for those of you who don't know what a TED Talk is, TED Talks are very interesting speeches given by people of all different kinds of knowledge and skill sets, and they talk on all kinds of different topics. And sometimes there are TED Talks that you get invitations to, and you can actually go hear the speech, but you can actually view most of the TED Talks online, and they're on all kinds of different things, and they're usually always good. And so somebody sent me a link on a TED Talk given by a gentleman named Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, and it's a talk on the why. And I watched it earlier this week. It's about an 18-minute YouTube video, and it's a great video that talks about, these are my words, what organizations and what managers and leaders should really focus on. And his point was we should not focus on so much the what or the how, but focus on the why we do what we do. And that's what connects people, because the why that drives me may connect somehow with the why that drives you. And so I thought today I would do a little bit of an introduction to how much I enjoyed this TED Talk, and really I want to try to shift my videos going forward to talk and spend more time about the why than the what. The what you can read about. The why, it's almost person to person. So I thought I would share a little bit about my why with you today. So there's a couple whys about why I love what we do as an agency and why I'm in it 150%. So the first why you may not know, but when I was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with a mild case of polio. It was in 1953. It was 2 years before the Salk vaccine became prominent. And I was very fortunate. We were living in Kansas City, Missouri at the time, and I can remember my mom and dad taking me to the doctor. I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, and I can remember the doctor asking me to walk across the exam room to him, and I couldn't do it. It was about 8 feet. And I remember the doctor telling my mom and dad that I had a slight case of poliomyelitis. And I don't remember anything about how it was treated, and I don't remember exactly how long it lasted. I'm assuming maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks at the longest, but it passed. And so even though I had polio, a very, very mild case as a child, it never was a barrier for me, and I've never had any symptoms since I was 5 years old. So sometimes I think about how blessed I am that I had a very slight, very short-lived disability that other people really impacted their life dramatically. And for some reason, I was blessed. So part of my why is really, it's gratitude for the blessings that I have had in my life, that I've never had a barrier to me being able to be independent or to work and fulfill a career that I have loved. And so I know that those of you who do this for the right reason is you do it because of your why, and it comes from your heart, not from your head. And so I just want to tell you that I appreciate your why, whatever your why and your story may be. And because of your why and my why and all of us in this agency and the whys that we have, we're going to be a great agency and we're going to do really good things. So I'll close with that. Hope you have a great weekend and enjoy your weekend.